Hi, I'm Angela from Stamping Beauty in Christchurch, New Zealand, and today I'm going to be making this card, which is for the Bee Inspired blog hop. There's a link in my description box below if you'd like to pop over to my blog and take the hop and see what my fellow team members have been creating. Our theme this month is the mini catalogue, and I've chosen this lovely stamp set here, the Joy of Noel and the coordinating dies for my project. It's been one of my favourites out of the mini catalogue, and I've made lots and lots of cards with it. So to start, I've just got a crumb cake card base. So I'm just going to fold that in half. Get that nice and matched up, and then just burnish along the edge here. Then my next layer is just slightly smaller. It's about 1 centimetre. And I'm using the watercolour, the Fluid 100 paper, because I'm going to be using it for these elements here, and it's because it's got a bit of a creamy base to it, it's nice so that it will coordinate. So to start with, I'll just bring in some scrap paper, and I'm going to do this background here, which I'm going to use a blending brush and Moody Mauve ink. Just open that up here, and what I do is I pop a little bit of Stampin' Seal down, not much but just enough to give it a bit of hold there so it won't move around, and then a bit of scrap paper too. So, and then I take the colour from here, pop it onto the lid, and then just use it from there. So I don't want it too dark, so I'll just tap some off. I try not to tap it onto paper here because I'm wasting ink. So I just pop some in the middle here, and then I'm just going to blend it out. It's always advisable too to start, when you put it onto paper, put it on somewhere where it's going to be behind, like this one, it's going to be behind that image. So if you do get a bit of a blob to start with, it's going to be hidden. So just take that colour out. I haven't done it on this occasion, but quite often what I do is start with a bigger piece and then cut it down, because then if I get any dark edges, they'll get taken away by cutting that piece off. So hopefully I won't get any of those today. So I'll just spread that around to get that lighter colour, just to give a bit of a pink tinge to the background. With the most of that colour in the centre there. Probably done a little bit more than my last one, but that's okay. They all end up being a little bit different, don't they? And then to get that off, just do a little bit of a twist. And then what I'm going to do is, on here, you might be able to see it or not, it's probably hard to see, but they've got little flecks of gold. So I use the Winsor and Newton ink, and I've got an old aqua painter that I keep specifically for this. So hopefully it's mixed up enough, and then I'll just open that up and just pick some up in here, and then give it a either flick like that or flick it from inside the lid. I find when you go down like that, you get a better spray. When you flick, sometimes you can end up with sort of a line of spray. So that's all I do with that. And then I'm just going to set that aside to dry. And then what I want to start doing is working on the image here. So I've got some more of the Fluid 100, and because it's photopolymer, I've got my foam pad, and I'm going to be embossing it in gold. So I've got my embossing buddy, and it's getting a bit thin. Put a bit of that onto there, and my Versamark ink, and I've got the stamp here, so just give that a good inking up. Hopefully get a good stamped image, and then I've got gold embossing powder. Get that covered with that. What I find with the gold on this paper when you're embossing, you don't want to overheat it because it can sort of disappear into the paper. Just give that a bit of a huff. So I'll just give that a light embossing, and as soon as it starts to turn, I'll stop. Looks okay. The best way is to sort of angle it to catch the light, and you can see where it's been embossed. And then while I'm here, I'll just do the sentiment as well. So I've got a bit more of that Fluid 100 embossing buddy, and I've got the sentiment, which is making spirits bright. Doesn't need to be straight because I'm going to fussy cut it. And more of this gold powder. Sometimes just going over it a second time, make sure it gets all covered. And a little bit of a blow to get rid of any loose bits. That's that done. Just bring in scrap paper. So what I tend to do is die cut first, because there's nothing worse than watercolouring something or colouring it in full stop and then it die cutting it and it ruining it. So I always like to die cut first. Sometimes it's a little hard when the paper has got a little bit curved from the die cutting. I mean from the embossing. Let's pop that on there. Looks okay. Put that on carefully. Just run that through. Check that. That's yes, that looks okay, so that's good. So then it's about watercolouring that. So I'm going to bring back in the Moody Mauve, and I'm just going to watercolour those berries. So I've got the light as if it's coming up, so I've got darker at the back here. I'll just go and put a little bit of dark colour to start with, and I'm just picking that straight up from the pad so it's nice and dark. Just at that top piece of each of those berries. Too many. Sometimes, oh yes, I have missed one. It's easy to do, isn't it? And then I just want to flush that colour out, and then just with the lighter or almost water, just drag that colour forward so it will lighten as it comes forward. So just this isn't enough colour, and it's not quite dry that it will bring it forward. It's really simple. You could get more detailed if you want, but I think that works really well. And then the next thing is I'm going to do all the leaves in soft sea foam, and I'm just going to do some darker than others. There's a little bit of ink in there, so that's good. So I'm going to do the same thing as add the darker at the top and sort of down the vein of the leaf. And even on just that little bit there. Just as much darkness as you want. And I won't just do a few of them dark here, because I want to start working with it before it dries too much. That one I want to do a little bit lighter, so I add a little bit of water to that. You can go back and add a little, if you add more colour you get the darker look, and sometimes you can actually sort of bleach out a bit of the colour if you add lots of water to it. And this paper is so forgiving, it really does let you add quite a lot of water to it. Just add that onto there, and I'm just going to flush out that, and then just drag that colour up. Same on these ones here. And if it has started, it's almost dried quite quickly. And that one's better. These ones are still a bit wet. You can sort of go back and mix up and bring a bit more in. Mix up the colour you would like on the tray, just to get that a bit more gradual, the colour. And do the same on this one here. You could change up, you know, and use different greens on the leaves. But I just wanted to get that same look, not to have too much. Keep it quite simple. That. And if you do want sort of that more organic water look, just add more water, and it will sort of leave more puddly looks. And then on that one I didn't do anything on the, just smudge that a little bit. If you use a bit of water it will pick it up, take it away. I haven't done anything on that, and I haven't on some of the others I've done the stalks, but I'll just keep this one a little bit with the gold as more of a feature. And just drag that colour up. You can add, as it dries, you can add more colour to make it a little bit deeper if you want, but just keep that fairly simple. And so I'm just going to set that aside to dry for a little bit. And the next thing I'm going to do is fussy cut the sentiment. If you don't like fussy cutting, you can always die cut it, find a suitable die, but I didn't want to cover up too much of my the leafy image with the sentiment, so fussy cutting it sort of gives you more of a view. Just as quickly was around there. The sentiment isn't too hard to cut around. Just leave a wee edge. It just gives you a bit of room for forgiveness if you make a mistake, and also because it's sort of on the similar background, it won't be too noticeable. So you can see I'm not being too specific, just sort of in and out. And just curve that a little bit around there at the end. Right, and that's done. So now it's about putting it all together. So I'll bring back my panel here. Now the good thing with using this Fluid 100, this does soak into it a little bit quicker than it does with other paper, but I don't want to risk that it's not totally dry, so I don't want to smudge it. So I'm just going to place it down and try not to move it while I pop these on. Otherwise, if you have a bit more time, then just leave it aside till it's totally dry. I'll just lift it straight up. I think that is dry, so that's good. It's quite warm here today, so that helps in the drying process. Pull those backs off. And then I just want to get that nice and straight onto here. I've just realised my light isn't on, so it's probably been a little bit dark. Hopefully, sorry about that, that might help. I started and then stopped, so sorry about that. Right, so now I want to get my ribbon. So I've got some of this gorgeous, this is the iridescent ribbon. So it's just a really short pieces, 9 centimeters, so in inches that is just over 3.5. So so that I want to pop that. You can see that it's about sort of there. So I'm just going to put a bit of snail or Stampin' Seal, I should say. Get that rolling. Just pop a little bit in the middle there. Line that up about there. And then I've got a piece of this gorgeous trim here, which is out of a duo of ribbons, which it is. I will tell you which one it is. It's just called a duo combo pack, and it's petal pink. So even though it's not the same colour, it does, I think it works well with this. So I'll just do the same thing, just put another little bit of the Stampin' Seal down and just pop that ribbon just over there. And then I've got this, I want to make a lovely big bow with the twine. So this, I'll tell you how much this there is. I'll convert it, I'll pop it in the notes, but it is 45 centimeters. So that's quite a decent amount of ribbon. I'll just write that down so I remember to say how much, 5 centimeters, how much it is in inches later. So go to the middle, about the middle, and do my, sometimes that doesn't always work for getting a nice even bow, but then I usually just pop it over a finger so I can see that I get the loops about the same. And just pull it, and then once I've got it like that, give it a nice big even tug. So you can see it's quite a good size. And the beauty of having made this card already, see now, sometimes shouldn't faff so much, is you can pop it, when you've already made one, you can pop it over and see how it works for size, which it does, so that's good. So then I want to bring in a glue dot and pop that at the middle. That up, if it will let me. Something to, it's annoying, isn't it? What might come off there, but straighten that up a bit. Perhaps should have just taken it straight off, that would have been better. And then I just want to put that down there. And of course these will go whichever way they want to. They seem to have a mind of their own. So what you can do, I found, if it's really twisty, that one. Obviously, hold on, I'm going to have to, sorry, pull that up again Didn't like the way I knotted it, made that into a bow, so I'll have to try and go with its natural flow rather than mine. I think sometimes when they've been, this might give that a bit of a straighten out, when they've been rolled up on those tiny little barrel things, or tubes, I do get a bit oh dear, start again, stop getting so flustered. Right, yeah, that's better. So you can straighten it out a bit just by running it like I did, even through my fingers, and giving that a good pull. So that's a bit more submissive, which I like when it comes to bow making. So give that another check. Right, good to go. So try that again, tuck that onto there, tuck that on there, and I will trim a little bit off that so it's not so wild there. Great, under control again now. And then what I want to do is pop this onto here. So I want to avoid the knot in the middle because that's just going to make it lumpy and bumpy. So I'll put a couple of dimensionals there and a couple down here, and that should be enough to anchor it. I kind of like when things not sort of stuck down too much. And let's move that up a little bit. I think that looks okay. That's going a bit skew off. Maybe I should have put a little bit more on that, but anyway, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Right, that's good. That's good, and it's stuck down enough, so that's good. And then the sentiment, so that's just going to go straight across there, and I'm just going to put enough for the middle to be stuck down. So just some, and those halves are going to be quite thick on there. I know that should be okay. And then pop that, that's going to go straight up there and across that join. And then lastly, I want to put some of these gorgeous gold sequins. And put one here. I think this time I might change it up a bit. I might take one sort of down here and pop that one over there. And that is my card created. So hope you enjoyed this video and making this card. And if you make one, please tag me. I'd love to see what you've made. And you can see just even the difference it makes, doesn't it, with adding a little bit more colour. And they're always so individual. So thanks again, and I hope you enjoy the hop. Bye for now.